speaking. We also encourage you to use the chat feature to jot questions or comments in real time as we engage today. We do record our Wednesday gatherings each week, and so this service is being recorded. Those recordings are available from the CTS homepage. So if you enjoy today's celebration and want to share it with others who can't be here, you'll absolutely be able to do so. We begin each week with words of gathering to draw us into the space together. And today I am pleased to welcome Shelley Friedman, who is the congregational cantor at Emmanuel Congregation on the north side of the city. Many of you will remember that Rabbi Shulman served at Emmanuel for more than 60 years. And so we have a very fond connection to Emmanuel. Shelley, it's a pleasure to welcome you today.
I am so very pleased to be here. Thank you, Lisa. And before I get started, as we say in our business, Mazel Tov to Elder Hughes on this auspicious day where you're being honored by this large community. I was giggling when you were talking about gathering sheep. In Judaism, I feel sometimes like I'm herding cats, which is a different thing. But I am grateful for this moment. As Lisa so aptly said, I am, of course, a product of those who came before me. And so my ability to be here is because, in large part, of Rabbi Herman Shulman. And to be able to sit at that master's feet was one of the gifts I am so very grateful for. It will be 30 years that I'm at Emmanuel Congregation. It was my very first pulpit. And because I started as a child prodigy at age 10, I think we can all do the math here on this call. What I wanted to say to all of you was that Judaism never claimed to be the only way to God. In fact, every way is valid. Every way has meaning. And one of the things that I am really conscious of today when I saw the sun shining is the multitude of blessings which surround us at all times, and yet we become blind to them. How many times today did you ask your heart to beat? Or did you notice that you are breathing in and out? Our rabbis taught that you should not even be able to take but a few steps before you utter a blessing of thanks for this life which is ours and for the myriad of blessings which surround us. And I am taught one of these lessons by a man by the name of Abraham Joshua Heschel. Some of you may know that name too. Besides being a great theologian, he taught this idea of radical amazement. And that by being grateful in the moment, not only are there benefits to us religiously and spiritually, there are actually benefits to us physically. There's all this science coming out, which is saying that by taking a moment to be grateful of the blessings which abound, we are healthier in all of our various facets. And so I wanted to teach you one of the ways in Judaism that we say thanks to God. We use a verb which doesn't just mean thanks, but it also means acknowledgement. The phrase which I want to teach you, because we're all going to say it together in a few moments, is modim anachnu lach. Now, may I share my screen? All right, let's hope this works.
Yes, you should be able to.
Can you all see my screen? Oh gosh, I love it when technology is a thing. So what I'd like to do is after I read each phrase, if you would finish by saying modim anachnu lach, that would be great. For all community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression. Please unmute. Modim anachnu lach. Beautiful. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so others might live in dignity and freedom. For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose. We pray that we might live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. I am so grateful for this morning with you all. Please forgive me as I have to hop off to go on to another meeting. I'm booked within an inch of my life today. Again, I want to reiterate my praise and thanksgiving for human beings like Elder Hughes, who have led by example and who bless us by being a blessing. And I wish you all a day of peace and gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you so much, Cantor Shelley, for such a beautiful welcoming prayer and for inviting us together into this space. I love the sort of cacophony of voices that happen when we try to speak in unison on Zoom. Sort of a reminder that we are together and we're all in our own places too, and it's just beautiful.
God bless you all.
Blessings to you as well. Friends, today we are gathered here and we are so pleased to recognize and present our Distinguished Alumni Award to Elder Hughes. I'm going to turn now to my colleague, Tyler Tully, who has the honor of presenting this award officially. Tyler oversees our alumni relations here at CTS. Tyler.
Thank you, Lisa. Chokma, salam, shalom, hello to everyone. Thank you so much for that introductory time of worship and prayer. As Lisa noted, we are here today gathered to celebrate the accomplishments, lives, and character of Elder Hughes. Elder Hughes was born in Kingstree, South Carolina, during the era of segregation. He broke the color barrier in standardized testing, becoming the first African-American student in Eastern South Carolina to take the SAT exam. Elder Hughes advanced to Allen University, earning a bachelor's degree in mathematics, and he eventually became a high school teacher. Elder Hughes was born and raised in the African Methodist Episcopal Church tradition. As the son of a preacher, the church called to him. Realizing he needed proper seminary training, his path led him to Chicago Theological Seminary in the mid-1970s. A stellar student during his time here, Elder Hughes also was an entrepreneur, starting his own mortuary business as he matriculated as a student. Throughout the years, Elder Hughes built a successful mortuary business and became an elder in the AME 4th District, covering portions of Canada and the upper Midwest of the United States. At the height of his church career, he had oversight of more than 50 churches. And after 50 years of faithful service, Elder Hughes retired in the summer of 2020. As the director of the Resilience and Leadership Initiative and Alumni Relations at Chicago Theological Seminary, it is my sincere honor to officially give this year's Distinguished Alumni Award to Elder Thomas M. Hughes. Please join me in celebrating this distinction. To help us celebrate today, I'm now turning to my colleague, Reverend Brian Smith, who will be in conversation with Elder Hughes and others who are here to acknowledge his many contributions and accomplishments. Brian?
Amen. Thank you, Brother Tyler. Can we do something? The preacher in me is coming out. Can you unmute yourselves? I want to hear those hands clapping. Can we just give a hand clap praise for Elder?
Amen.
Behold how good and pleasant it is when brethren and sisters can gather together in unity. Let me just say, Elder, it has been an honor and a privilege to be able to serve you and your family. In fact, I will no longer call them your family. I will call them our family, because I feel as if I have gained new aunts, cousins, sisters, mothers, uncles, people who love me just as much as they love you. And again, I consider it an honor to be able to work with you and to have this privilege. Thank you to the AME Church, because you also have adopted me, this Baptist preacher, into your fold. And whenever I arrive at your conferences, you all treat me as if I am one of your own. So I'm grateful to all of you. I also want to lift up the representative from the men of Omega Psi-Phi and all those members of the Divine Nine. Blessings to all of you. And I'm so grateful to have joined your ranks. So again, thank you, all of you. Let's now begin. We have an actual recording from Elder Walter Baldrick, and we're going to go ahead and present that at this time. While that's queuing up, for those who don't know, okay, here we go.
Presiding Elder Thomas Mitchell Hughes, I pause to give gratitude to you for the abundance of gifts you have shared with so many. You have distinguished yourself, and we thank you for sharing yourself as a quality role model. Your stewardship, both time, talent, and resources, has trailed you through your life's journey and through God's vineyard. Students, youth, and young adults have benefited greatly from the kindness shown by you. As God has blessed you, you have blessed others. You have tried to live up and support the scripture, to whom much is given, much is required. On a personal note, I thank you for being a resource and a wealth of knowledge that I could extract from. Thank you for sharing with me through the years, working alongside you, trying to learn as much as you had to pour into me. You have demonstrated that walking with God is a worthwhile endeavor. Thank you for your loyalty for the gospel, trying daily to live up to the standards of Jesus Christ, our Lord and our Savior. You have blazed a remarkable trail, and we give God gratitude for all the times that He has lifted you from one hurdle to the other, so that you can be a glowing light to so many others. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but I thank you for all that you have done, all that you have done for the African Methodist Episcopal Church, all you have done for the 4th Episcopal District, and we thank God that you were there for us in times of need. God bless you.
Amen. And throughout our session, we will be featuring different colleagues, family members, and friends of Elder as we go through this conversation. I'd like to mention that the bishops, a number of bishops I am aware of that are actually en route to Payne Theological Seminary for a major conference today. So that is why some of them were unable to be present, Elder. But I have talked to Bishop White, and he sends his blessings, and they are definitely supportive of you and excited about the things that we have emerging from CTS. For those who don't know, we have not one, but 2 scholarships in the name of Elder Hughes. The first one was an expendable fund that Elder Hughes completed in just 2 months. And then when we presented that, we decided that we would launch out deeper And now we are working on a $100,000 endowed scholarship fund for AME students at CTS. And I've been doing my research, everyone, and I believe it may in fact be the first one in the city of Chicago in a seminary. I haven't been able to find another one. So there is a link in the chat feature, and we want all of you to consider making a contribution to the Endowed Elder Hughes Scholarship Fund. I will be working with the 4th District and the Men of Omega Sci-Fi in the coming days to begin to complete the funding for that endowed fund. And we are actually at the 50% mark. I think we're close to $47,000 raised towards 100,000. So I want to mention that as we begin to engage. And so now at this time, Elder Hughes, I want to talk to you, and then I want to bring in my sisters, your sisters, just to talk about you a little bit and your journey. So I want to bring out some things that may not be as obvious. And let's start out with your childhood. You have a very exciting history, and you were the son of a preacher. So I want to ask you, what was that like, and how did that inspire you as you move forward in ministry?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yes, both my grandfather and my father were ministers in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and I believe they played a great role in helping me to be guided in the same direction. At a few times, I was concerned about ministry and trying to convince God that I could do something different. But that didn't seem to work out too well. I ended up in the ministry. It was a good life. I didn't think it was so good at the time, but now as I look back, I can thank God for the various experiences I had that helped me to recognize God's goodness and how He moves us day to day along our life's pathway. Help me to see also that God does order our steps. We think we're in charge, but actually God is. He directs our steps, directs our lives, opens doors that we are not aware of. And we've come this far by faith. God has been awesome in His grace and mercy in my life. So I tried to pass that on to a few other people to help them as I could along the way. I've always tried to help others. Tried to help my parents, even though they kept advising me that I didn't need to help them, but it's just something in me that causes me to reach out to help others. And so I wanted to do something now to help others even after this life is over.
And so you have a history of helping and a history of funding. And
Yes.
I was elated to hear about your work with children. Could you talk to us a little bit about what you used to do when you were an elder and how you would help children to learn about money?
Yes, even before I became an elder, I assisted another pastor who was doing the accounting work for the 4th District, and I was his assistant. And we used to go to Canada annually, just like we go to all of the conferences annually. And I heard some of the situations that were existing in Canada. And so I adopted 3 young people and contributed to their education. In some instances, I would sponsor their books annually. In some instances, I would give to their parents for their tuition. in some instances, just give to the family so the family could be more productive in what they had to do in helping their children. And most of those young people now see me as, they call me their uncle, because they appreciate what I did through the years, not only in Canada, but also in the various churches that I had. I've helped young people progress. It just seemed like the right thing to do. I was not a drinker. I was not a person who did a lot of crazy things in life. And so I contributed to other people's lives.
So not only were you a contributor with people in their natural lives, but you were drawn to a business where you dealt with people at the end of life. And I was fascinated to hear about your work in the mortuary business, even as a student at CTS. Could you talk to us a little bit about what was happening during that time at CTS and how you were also working part-time in order to fund your education and to develop your career?
Actually, I was working full-time at a funeral home called Charles S. Jackson Funeral Home, which was located at that time at 7350 South Cottage Grove. And one of the reasons that I had to come to school in the funeral equipment oftentimes on my way to a funeral, because I had an early class. And most of the students at the school were aware of my work. And so I was able to, I had a good relationship with the school. They allowed me to park in places that normally we couldn't park, but because it was a funeral coach, they allowed it to be parked.
So let me stop you there, Elder. So you actually came to the school in a hearse sometimes?
Yes, oftentimes, because I had to be at a funeral at 10 or 10:30. And so I would come by the school on my way to the funeral, and then leave school and go straight to the church or to wherever the funeral was being held.
Did you have to ever did you ever have to give anybody a ride when you were coming?
Very few people are interested in riding in a hearse unless they have to.
That is very exciting. So
Yeah.
tell me, you shared that you had a very unique experience with then President Kenneth B. Smith.
Yes.
What was your experience with him at CTS during that time?
Well, I learned that he was a person who was very amenable to talking to students, helping them to be more comfortable in what they were doing, help them to understand what the process was. He was, for me, he was a good source to look to for support. And when you go and talk to him, when I would go and talk to him and leave, I would be much more comfortable about whatever the situation was. I tried not to be overbearing, but there were times when I needed some clarity and needed just my mind to be more at ease going through the process. I didn't, when I came to CTS, I misunderstood what seminary was. I guess I thought it was a Bible school. And I found out it was more of a challenge of your faith than informing you of the biblical text. And so I had to make an adjustment there. Also, I can't remember, I think his name was, I don't remember his name, but he was the professor for Old Testament. He gave me a lot of support. And I really loved the Old Testament too. In fact, he made me understand that the New Testament is is embellished because of the Old Testament. And so I'd even today, I like Old Testament scripture more seemingly than New Testament. But it was, seminary was an excellent experience. I didn't, it broadened my view of different kinds of people. Everybody didn't believe the way I believe. Everybody didn't believe the same. And God was the kind of God who appreciated whatever form of belief they had. And so it opened up my mind to be more amenable to people who thought differently from me. There were a couple of people from Syria in school with us. Guy saw me praying one day at the chapel, and he said, "Man, I never had to go through that. When I need money, I call my father, and he sends me whatever money I need." And so his needs were so different from mine. We talked a lot because I wanted to understand how they were seemingly able to make it so well without prayer. Because in my life, prayer was key and keeping faith, to keep your faith and to believe in God and expect God to help you make it through your trials and tribulations. And so there were a lot of things that a person like myself coming from South Carolina opened my eyes to new avenues and venues by which people serve God.
Thank you for that testimony, and I'm sure that it resonates even with students that are matriculating today, because sometimes we all have those aha moments or even moments of disillusionment when we discover that what we were taught is not necessarily the right way, but there are other pathways and other right ways. So thank you for that testimony, Elder. And as we extend the conversation, now I want to open it up to your sisters, our sisters, and I'll share with everybody, we've been engaged now for well over a year, maybe 2 years now, or maybe more, because I guess we were right before the pandemic.
2019.
Yeah.
Right, 2019.
So let me introduce everyone to two delightful women who I've grown to love, Gwendolyn and Wilhelmina, the sisters of Elder Hughes. We've been working together tirelessly to try to build this scholarship fund. And so I'm going to talk with them as well and join them in the conversation because I'm sure they have a lot to say.
Not enough time.
I'm going to ask you all, what was your brother like when you all were growing up? What was it like?
Lord have mercy. He was the first grandson of our maternal grandparents, and we lived in the same house. He could do no wrong. And of course, since we are really young children, during that era, we had one black and white TV. My sister and I could be looking at TV all day long. He had been out all day long, gone for 5 minutes, but out all day long. And when he came in, he walked in the door, turned the TV to a Western usually. And when we turned it back, my grandmother was probably shorter than my mother, and I think most people would know her, so therefore they know the height. She would switch herself in, and she would turn it back, look at me and my sister, and we knew not to do it. And he still has that smile, is doing it right now. He would say, hey, hey, hey. And that was it. You know, we wanted to hurt him. We love him to death today, and thank God for transition, thank God for growth. But during those days, we wanted to put him under the house, and we had a tall house, so we could put him under there. and leave him there. But without taking up a lot of time, I really do want to divert for a minute and thank CTS for this honor. Our brother is really not one that likes recognition for anything. He does things most of the time silently, doesn't remember what he does. So, you know, it's not for that. So we appreciate the fact that you're doing this. But all along, as we grew up, he has always been a supportive brother, in spite of some of the stories that my sister and I could tell you that go along with the thought that what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. We could give you a lot of those, but you don't have enough time for that. So we'll keep it on the positive side of his accomplishments. I can truly say he is the best brother that I could have asked for. And I'm one that's very regimented and making sure when I talk to him, I have everything, all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted. And I always make people laugh that one time I was talking to him about something I was very furious about, and it had to do with the church. And I thought I had everything in order. And when he started saying, I said, Lord, I'm in trouble. And his response to me was, but that's not your call, that's God's. Well, I want to tell you right then, I wanted to tell him, I ain't asked you what God said. I want you to hear what I said. But he always brings us back to what is it that God would have us do. And I could give you many examples of that, but I won't. And additionally, I'd like to say he unequivocally was the best son that our mother could have asked for. Go ahead, Willie.
Willie?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I can easily lighten it up. I'll tell you about him. Some of you may not know how competitive he is. And he's a preacher, but he can play some cards. If you know about bid whist and spades and some other card games that we like to play in college or family gatherings, he does not like to lose. And there have been many times when we have been playing a card game when I made a very dumb move and he would jump up from that table, slam his hand on the table and said, Willie, are you counting the cards? And I'm sitting there thinking, counting the cards? Why do I need to count the cards? That was my mentality, but he's very organized and he has a method. He knows the path that he needs to be on, even in a card game, if he wants to win, including counting the cards. In that case, it meant all the trump cards. I hate using that word, excuse me, and no offense to anyone, but if you're playing a game like bid whist and, you know, spades or trumps, you should be counting how many spades have fallen on the table so that you know what card to play next so that you can win this game. And he was very infuriated when I didn't. It all ended up in fun, and we have had many long, fun times in situations like that. But it wasn't just in cards, whether we're playing Trivial Pursuit or even Old Maid when we were really little young children playing at home. He wanted to win, and he wants to win, but if he's won as much as he thinks he can handle at the time, he will help you win too. And even in his own way of winning, he's teaching you some skills and strategies that you need to use. In fact, I became a pretty good card player later on in my adult life when we gathered for games like that, because I knew how to count the cards. And guess who taught me how to do that? My brother. So, as well as how to use other strategies in games even, and how those strategies can actually shape how you solve problems in life. I carried some of those things with me into the classroom as a teacher throughout my career. And so I thank him for that, even though it may have not been quite so pretty when we were doing it early on, and when I was getting beat, and when he was slamming his hand on the table because of me. Also, to reiterate what my sister said, I'm so pleased that you have taken the time to honor him in this way, with such a prestigious and worthy award. It is true that he does not like a lot of recognition. He likes to give it, but he even gives recognition and praise in a more silent way than some may expect or desire. He's really pretty soft spoken until he has a reason not to be. He's going to stand up for right. He knows he's not perfect, and he's certainly made his share of mistakes in so many facets of life, but he's always tried to turn those mistakes into, and I'm not about to say I know all that he's made. I've been too busy trying to keep up with and avoid making mistakes in my own life. But he's always about the other person. I've never seen a more unselfish individual, and who, when you say give you the coat off his back, that is Thomas Hughes from beginning to the end. I want to also encourage somebody by saying that many of you know that he has been his health has not been the best. I'll say it that way, over the last several years. To say that he is resilient, that if the sun comes up, he plans on getting up and making the most of the day, is an understatement. I hope that anybody who has had a chance to observe him during these years has been encouraged that sickness is not unto death necessarily, and that sickness doesn't mean that you have to give up on life. That if the Lord wakes you up in the morning, he wakes you up for a reason, and you should give all honor and praise to him by trying to follow the path that he lays for you each day. And even when you don't know what it is, but you take one step, and I do believe Tommy has shown us that he'll take many when you put forth that kind of effort. I could go on and on, obviously. You can tell I'm kind of charged up, but I know you said this was a 1-hour program. So I'm going to just leave it at that. And I want to thank Reverend Smith for his leadership, and Chicago Theological Seminary for honoring Thomas in this way. Thank you.
Thank you, Willie. You know, I didn't expect you to preach this morning. I would expect Gwen to do that, but we got to turn our attention to Willie now, everybody.
Well, you forget, I was a teacher, Brian.
Okay. I don't think I got to see this side. Usually in our meetings, I hear more from Gwen, so I'm glad to hear.
Well, that's because we always acquiesce to her.
Okay.
She's the baby, and we kind of always just gave in to her. Also, she's very good at what she does, so it's a family thing. Yeah, just let her have let her take it through.
Beautiful. Well, thank you all. Thank you for those awesome testimonies. I want to move towards, I met the two of you when we introduced the Elder Thomas M. Hughes Scholarship, and you all didn't even know about the first one. And then that's when we had the discussion about developing the endowed fund. And at that time, we were honoring the first recipient, who I'm going to call is Cheryl.
Cheryl, she was on.
Is Cheryl on?
I'm here.
Okay. I want to turn the attention to Cheryl, who is the first recipient of the first Thomas Hughes Scholarship. And she is currently a PhD student at CTS, dynamic and moving forward, one awesome preacher, woman of God. And very quickly, Cheryl, I just want you to talk to us about what it means to have these kinds of opportunities, and specifically for AME students.
So first of all, I do want to say thank you again, Presiding Elder Hughes, for that first scholarship. And I also want to say thank you and congratulations to you for the work that you've put through and put forth through the AME Church and the lives that you've impacted and the time that you've served. And I pray that retirement, such as it is being good to you and for you. So for me as an AME to receive the scholarship, especially in light of the fact that it was for a PhD as I continue my journey in a PhD program, it is to understand that at this moment in time, the denomination does not provide financial support for those persons going back to school or having to go back to school in order to complete an MDiv or any advanced education. So to have that scholarship meant that there was just one more, there was a semester in which I didn't have to apply for or sign my life away off on a student loan. And that was helpful. The fact that I received it in 2019, I believe, right before COVID came, was also an additional blessing for me in that in January, February of 2020, I was able to go out of state and really engage in some research that I would not have been able to have had or been able to do had I been just dependent upon my student loan. It would not have happened. So when we talk about endowments and when we talk about scholarships, especially for our AME students, it's really just important to know that every dollar that we get apart from a student loan is so important. And for PhD students, we don't always have the capabilities to have a full-time, even a part-time job, or for my own self, it's a matter of my health that requires that I make one choice or the other. And I choose school, I choose the education because this is where God has called me at this point. So to have those kind of resources, additional resources, and the opportunity to apply for scholarships, the opportunity to be blessed with scholarships and fellowships has been truly important. So thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Mhm.
I guess I'll stay on the AME thread, and then I'm going to move over to the fraternity thread. I have another friend, and it's something, you know, when you meet people, you never know, you got to be kind because you'll continue to meet them through the year. So I want to bring to the conversation, let's see, is Elder Thorne still present? Elder Jimmy Thorne, who I have known for some time. He's also a Garrett man and just a wonderful preacher, a wonderful, kind soul. So we're going to hear some words from Elder Thorne. You're muted, Elder.
Thank you, Reverend Smith, and to those who are still with us. And congratulations to you, Elder Hughes. And I thank good Lord for the opportunity to share. I had no knowledge or intent until 10 minutes before the hour. I looked on my phone and I saw the notice that there would be such a Zoom meeting. And I hadn't been on with my fellow AMEs in quite some time. So I said, oh, this would be a good time to see some faces. Anyway, about Reverend Hughes, I met him while he was in his seminary training at CTS. I guess that was, it was a long time ago, something like 40 some years or maybe 50. We met at St. James AME Church, and we have had a history together, and I found him to be a very unusual person. He was my supervising pastor for many years. And I'm just gonna say it as it is. I found him to be a hard taskmaster. He was very challenging. And But in the process, I learned a lot. I grew. I was stretched. My faith was tested. And I found that at the end that it was all for my good, because at the end, I was appointed to serve as a supervising pastor myself. And guess who my best teacher was? Elder Hughes. I learned the things that I didn't learn as pastoring. I learned it as an elder, thanks to him. So Elder, I just want to say thank you to you for challenging my faith and helping to direct my ministry, and for doing the kind of things in the church that has been so meaningful to so many pastors, to so many laypersons. And I just want to thank you for being Reverend Hughes. Yes, I have to admit, you have been misunderstood in many places and many times. But as I began to look back over history of the church of the 4th District, you have been perhaps the most prolific elder that has ever served while I have been a part of the AME Church. And I want to thank you for your great contributions and throughout the 4th District. And this is a large district. I don't think any bishop would have been successful if you had not been the kind of elder
Yes,
that you have been.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Please mute yourself, sir. Go ahead, Elder.
Okay, well, I'm really finished, but I just want to say thank you to you, Elder, and I want you to just continue to be who you are and continue to help the AME Church be a better church. You couldn't do a better thing than to contribute to scholarship at this time, and I commend you for it all. We love you in this church. God bless you.
Thank you, Elder Thorne.
Sure. Then.
Now I wanna bring to the fold a man of Omega Sci-Fi Incorporated, Deion Williams, who wants to give honor from your fraternity. I heard, Elder, that you used to be quite a stepper. Okay, and maybe I made that up, but I thought that you used to lead the line with the gold boots on. So we're gonna hear from Brother Deion Williams from his fraternity, Omega Sci-Fi Incorporated.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Brother Smith. I am a member of Omega Sci-Fi fraternity, and it's an honor to be on this call today. Me and Brother Smith did a little phone tag and some emailing, but it's definitely an honor. Now with Reverend Hughes, I can just give you a brief, history, because I can go on for days. Roughly about 25 years ago, I met Reverend Hughes, and he reached out, and I'm hearing all these stories about how great he has been in the district, and I can say for the fraternity, he has done the same. Reverend Hughes is not a real outspoken person, but you understand where he's coming from. He have always been one of those people who just meet no strangers. And he had done that with the fraternity. So a little story about Reverend Hughes. When I first met him, we were looking for some places to meet, to have our meetings. And so Reverend Hughes, he, of course, he said, "Hey, Brother Deion, well, you have, I had a funeral home, so, you guys can come in there." So a lot of brothers like, "Oh, we don't want to have meetings in the funeral home and things like that." But guess where we end up at the funeral home. And so by him being the bishop over, the elder over all these different churches, he traveled a lot. So it became a problem where we couldn't get in at the funeral home all the time. So he said, "You know what, Brother Deion, I'm just gonna give you a key. So he gave us access to his funeral home to have meetings. And you know, it's a lot of times we don't recognize people while they're here. And I think this is just an honor, you know, that you guys are recognizing Reverend Hughes, because he's very modest, he's very humble, he don't ask for things, you know, so it's definitely exciting for you guys to be doing this. And so Omega Psi Phi will be helping and contributing any way we can, you know, just, you know, to support not only the AME, but also Reverend Hughes, you know, really is the main support here, because like I said, he's been serving Omega close to 60 years. He's a bridge builder in our fraternity and he never misses a beat. And so I just appreciate you, Brother Smith, for reaching out and allowing me to be on this call and to congratulate Reverend Hughes, because he's definitely a gem, you know, that we have been able and blessed, you know, to cross paths with, you know, in our lifetime. So I appreciate that.
Well, Brother William, I will say this, it has been a pleasure talking to you. We've been joking. I'm very serious about trying to move forward with our commitment to make this endowed fund completed. We are aiming to do it by the end of this fiscal year, which is the end of June. And I'm just going to keep that in focus. And I want to count on you and the men of Omega Psi Phi. I'm going to be communicating with you, and maybe we can extend it even beyond your chapter to let everybody know about this great man. And
Yes.
You have my commitment. Call me anytime if you need me to go before the brothers. As long as they accept me, you know I'm a brother of the black and gold. But you know,
Right, that's it. There you go. We won't hold that against you. We won't hold that against you.
So I want to continue to let everybody know we're trying to build this fund. You all see the wonderful legacy of this gentleman. And I had to learn, Brother Williams, what you have said, and it's taken me a while to learn that Elder Hughes is not going to celebrate himself.
No,
and
not.
so, you know, when I told you about the fund, you said, what? We didn't know about this? And the same thing happened with his sisters. So I'm inviting everybody, come on, let's wrap our arms around him. We see the great work that he's doing. We see the students that are being impacted. Let's make this happen. So again, I'm going to show up. You let me know what meetings I need to be present at with Omega Psi Phi, and I will be there. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know that you have to go, and I just want to say that I appreciate you, and we'll stay in touch.
Perfect.
Okay, bless.
Thank you. Yep, and congratulations again, Brother Hughes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. So we are, let's see, I've done a pretty decent job stewarding the time. We have about 5 minutes left. I can't get everyone. And I know that there are messages in the chat. Let's see. Let me ask Wilhelmina and Gwen, is there a family member here, a younger one that you think we should acknowledge as our last speaker?
Yes, Reverend Smith. Hendrine Hughes Williams, who is—
I think you muted. Gwen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hendrine Hughes Williams, who is actually our cousin, but she's our sister. So we consider her as the second sister. She's on the line.
Okay.
I'd like for her to say something because I think she probably loves Tommy more than she loves us, which is okay.
Sister Williams, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and this was not expected. And you will find that the Hugheses are long-winded, but I'm going to try to keep it short. I can't even begin to say the impact he's had on my life. And I was in Michigan first, and he was assigned in 77, and I'll never forget, to a church, St. Matthew's AME Church here in Michigan. But he was still enrolled in school, in the seminary. So he commuted that last semester. I think it was your last semester there.
Yes.
Back and forth. And on the weekends, he would come and he stayed with my husband and I. And I can remember well, because my first child was born that year. And so we were always close. I always considered him very close to me, but we became even closer after that. and different events would happen in each other's house in our lives. But we knew we could rely on each other when anything happened. And he lived here in Detroit for several years. And he stayed in the Michigan area several years. And then when he was transferred to Illinois, I just thought that was the end of my life because we had gotten so close and I had to adjust. And it made a big difference with me because he has two sisters. I have no siblings. So the bond was even more, I depended on him emotionally, I guess, but through the years. And as a child, my parents, I lived in New York, and we would come down during the summer for the month of August and visit all my parents' relatives, sisters and brothers and their children. And when we came to King Street, my father had two brothers in King Street. Tommy's daddy, Sir Spencer, and Uncle Oliver. Well, I always had to stay with Oliver's house, but I wanted to go to Tommy and Gwen and Wilhelmina's. And my mother would say, oh, no, they're too old for you. You can't go down there. And then finally, by the time we had been there for a week, maybe for a day or two, she would let me go down there. And that was the best time of my vacation in August, to go down and stay with them. Even though we've had a joke about that, they are older than I am. But I just always bonded with the three of them. So, and then even growing up, Wilhelmina and Gwen, my daddy always had a summer program, and they would come up there and work during the summer, and they would stay with me in the apartment. So I have a very close bond with them. He is a giving person. He's a giving person. I know we talk, it's 7 days in a week, and I think we talk about 4 out of 7, if not. And most of the time he's in the car going somewhere. I said, okay, where you going now? But he would travel around, and when he was at Elder, he would call when he's on the road. I said, oh, you on the road, going back to Chicago, going somewhere. So I knew that conversation was to help him to stay awake while he was on the road. So we would talk maybe an hour. But I do want to thank you for acknowledging his life and his contribution from the seminary, and just acknowledge my husband is on, Clarence, and my oldest child that was born when he came to live with us, Claresta, she's on, and Henderson is on. Also, my youngest, he's in New York, and he's at work and not able to come on. But we love him. We love all the family, and there's nothing they can ask. Thank you very much.
Blessings, blessings. Thank you. And with that closing, I will turn over the floor to my colleague, Lisa. This has been a wonderful occasion. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to share.
Absolutely. What a wonderful occasion. Congratulations again, Elder Hughes.
Thank you.
And thank you to everyone who shared. What a treat to be able to not only hear about the richness and breadth of your ministry, Elder, but also just your life, and to have a taste of that, to have your family gathered here, your colleagues. What a tribute. So what a delight for all of us today. Thank you to everyone who was here with us today, friends. This is actually our last Wednesday gathering of the academic year. Next Friday, we celebrate the graduation of some 69 new graduates from Chicago Theological Seminary. So we're very excited because we're holding commencement in person for the first time after having to do things virtually for the last couple of years. So that will be a true time of blessing, as was today. So friends, enjoy the rest of your day. Go in peace. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations, Elder Hughes.
Thank you. Thank
In a
you.
conference.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations, cuz. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Tommy.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
God
Tommy.
bless you. God bless you, Elder.
All right. Awesome.
God bless you,
Yes,
Barn. God bless you, Miss Barnwell.
It's-
God bless you, Elder.
it's
All
funny.
right. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Congratulations, Elder.
All right.
And
Bye-bye.
Say what you're gonna say.
Bye.
Hi, Ruth.
Bye. Good afternoon.
Love you, big
So-
brother.
I was
Thank
going to
you.
say, so
Love you,
Tommy,
Gwenny.
you know, you'll always be Tommy to me. You know, my daddy was
Able
the
to get
first
on.
one to correct me, and he said, you
Thank-
know, that's presiding now under Hughes. You got to call him Tommy. I said, he's Tommy.
That's right.
That's
Okay.
Tommy.
That's right.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Much deserved. And echoing what everyone else has said, you never would have spoken up on your own behalf. That's just how humble you are.
Thank you.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you too.
Okay.